The school that never sleeps. There's a high school in the United States where the lights flicker even when the power is fine, where lockers slam shut in empty hallways, where students hear whispers during exams, even when they're sitting alone. It's not just superstition or overactive teenage imaginations. These stories have persisted for decades, passed down through generations of students who've each experienced something unexplainable. And yet, despite the ghost stories, the shadowy figures, and unexplained phenomena, this school still runs. Bell rings, teachers teach, students attend, but not all of them feel alone. Welcome to one of the most disturbing institutions in America, a haunted high school still holding classes. This documentary dives deep into the horrifying history, chilling encounters, and ongoing supernatural events happening inside a school where learning never stops, and neither do the hauntings. Chapter 1: A Strange Foundation. Our story begins with the land itself. Long before the first brick was laid, this plot of earth had a reputation. The local Native American tribe spoke of strange lights and restless spirits roaming the forest. In the 1800s, settlers dismissed these stories and cleared the land to build a church, but their effort was short-lived. In 1879, the church mysteriously burned to the ground during Sunday service. Everyone inside perished. The fire was never explained. Some claimed it was lightning, others said it was divine punishment. But one thing was certain: no one rebuilt. The ground was considered cursed. Decades passed, and the land remained vacant, used only for grazing or avoided altogether. Residents whispered that the land seemed to groan at night. Strange fogs would roll through even on clear days. Birds avoided flying over it. Grass grew in unnatural swirling patterns. No flowers ever bloomed there. In the 1950s, with a growing population and overcrowded schools, the city made a controversial decision to build a new high school on the very lot where tragedy had struck decades earlier. Local elders objected, warning of the land's violent past. But their voices were ignored. Ground was broken in 1954. Within months, construction workers began reporting eerie encounters, tools going missing, strange figures seen on scaffolding at night, and one worker swearing he saw a girl in a white dress watching him from behind the trees. By 1957, the building was completed. But from the moment it opened its doors, something felt wrong. Chapter 2: The first death. In 1958, less than a year into its operation, tragedy returned. Sarah Whitmore, a bright and energetic 16-year-old, was found dead in the school library under circumstances that puzzled everyone. Her body sat at a desk as if she'd fallen asleep mid-study, except her posture was stiff, her hands clenched, and her eyes were wide open in sheer terror. There were no signs of trauma, no cuts or bruises. The coroner declared cardiac arrest, but her medical records showed no heart issues. Her friends described her as healthy and active, a soccer player, non-smoker, no prior health complaints. The oddest part? Her notebook was open, and on the last page she had scribbled the words, "He's here." The school tried to move on, counselors were brought in, assemblies were held, but rumors began spreading like wildfire. Some students claimed to have seen Sarah in the days after her death, standing at the end of hallways, looking out windows. The library where she died developed a chill no thermostat could control. Books occasionally fell from shelves without explanation, and around the anniversary of her death, the temperature in the library dropped by 10 degrees overnight. Students avoided the back row of the library, saying it gave them headaches or made them feel watched. Staff began locking the library an hour early every day. But still, the whispers continued. Chapter 3: The Locker Room Incident. In the late 1970s, the ghost stories had become a part of student life. Everyone had heard of strange noises, doors that refused to stay closed, or strange cold spots in the hall. But in 1978, what happened in the girls' locker room would change everything. After a late cheerleading practice, 5 girls went into the locker room to shower and change. One girl, Monica, was the last to shower. The others left, chatting and laughing as they exited. Minutes later, they heard a shriek from inside. When they rushed back in, they found Monica unconscious, crumpled in a corner. The scene was chaotic. Mirrors shattered with no sign of impact, metal lockers dented inward as if struck from the inside, and a foul, sulfurous smell in the air. Monica had deep, raw claw marks down her back, 3 long slashes that ran from her shoulder blade to her waist. No animals were found. No students had entered. Monica recovered physically, but she was never the same. She became withdrawn and quiet, afraid of mirrors and unable to sleep with the lights off. She transferred to another school the following semester and never spoke publicly about the event. But the locker room was changed forever. Mirrors were replaced with metal sheets, and students were no longer allowed to shower alone. Some claimed Monica had whispered something in the ambulance that day. She came through the mirror. Chapter 4. The Shadow in Room 306. Room 306 was the chemistry lab, and even among staff it had a reputation. Teachers complained of faulty wiring, frequent power outages, and strange electronic failures that seemed to affect only that room. The janitors hated cleaning it. Students described feeling dizzy or nauseated during class. In 1985, everything changed. During a routine lab experiment, a student named Brian stood up suddenly, pointing at the back corner and screaming. He claimed a tall, faceless figure was standing there, motionless yet unmistakably aware of them. Before anyone could react, beakers shattered on their own, a thick fog of gas burst from the vents, and panic set in. The room was evacuated. Several students were hospitalized for chemical inhalation. The school blamed faulty ventilation, but students and the teacher, Mrs. Leary, swore the events didn't follow any normal explanation. Mrs. Leary later resigned, telling local press that she believed the room was not safe, not for reasons science can explain. Since then, Room 306 has remained locked. Officially listed as a storage overflow room, it remains avoided by both staff and students. Yet strange noises, metal clinking, hushed whispers, and low growls have been reported by night security. Even they refuse to patrol that corridor alone. Chapter 5. The Janitor Who Never Left. In the early 1990s, a new wave of paranormal activity stirred curiosity and fear. Once more, this time centered around a mysterious figure seen during late hours, a janitor no one had ever officially hired. Described as an elderly man with a worn brown uniform, hunched posture, and a pipe clamped between his lips, he was always seen sweeping silently along the same hallway, the third-floor science wing. Staff assumed he was from the night crew, but when inquiries were made, no such employee was listed in district records. Mr. Davis, a long-tenured history teacher, had an encounter that would change his career. While working late one Thursday evening, he noticed the janitor enter the teacher's lounge. Following him in, Mr. Davis found the room empty, except for the heavy, unmistakable scent of pipe smoke. No windows were open. The air was still. On the lounge chalkboard, someone had scrawled the phrase, "You're not supposed to be here." Frightened, Mr. Davis left the building and never returned. His resignation came the next morning via voicemail. In his note, he wrote simply, "He watches when no one else does." Staff now leave out a broom and dustpan in the third-floor hallway, perhaps as a peace offering. Strangely, every morning the broom is found moved. No cameras have ever captured who or what does it. Chapter 6. The Ghost Files. Amanda Johnson, a former student and current paranormal investigator, took interest in her alma mater years after graduating. Now a well-known podcaster on supernatural events, she returned under the pretense of filming a documentary on forgotten American landmarks. But her true mission was to access the rumored ghost files, reports and logs quietly compiled by faculty over the decades, tracking supernatural activity within the school. With the help of a former janitor, she gained access to an old filing cabinet buried in the boiler room. Inside were dozens of faded manila folders, first-hand accounts of unexplained cold drafts in closed rooms, sightings of ghostly children playing in the gymnasium at night, and complaints of loud banging in the cafeteria when the school was empty. One report from 2002 stood out. The school nurse had claimed a young boy, dressed in old-fashioned clothes, walked into her office asking for medicine. When she turned to retrieve it, he vanished. His name tag read Daniel. Research revealed a boy by that name died of polio on school grounds in 1963. Strangely, Amanda's episode on the haunted high school was never released. She claimed her audio was corrupted and cameras malfunctioned. When asked if she would return for another investigation, she replied, "Once was enough." Chapter 7. The Ouija Incident. In 2008, during homecoming week, a group of seniors decided to perform a Ouija board session in the library after dark. With mobile phones and a live stream, they documented what started as a prank but became a terrifying memory none would forget. At first, the board moved slowly. The letters spelled out odd words, trapped, under, and look back. Then, the lights in the library began to flicker violently. A bookshelf toppled on its own. One girl, Haley, began screaming in an unknown language, her voice several octaves deeper than normal. The stream abruptly cut out. Haley was later found locked inside the girls' restroom stall, scratching at the door and whispering, "Open the gate," repeatedly. She was hospitalized for several weeks and diagnosed with acute psychosis. She never returned to school. The footage was mysteriously deleted from all online platforms. Copies exist, shared quietly between students over encrypted links. The library has since banned all books on spiritualism. To this day, faculty members lock the library before sundown, regardless of school policy. Chapter 8. The doors that won't stay closed. There's a hallway in the basement of the school where no classroom has functioned in years. Once used for industrial arts and storage, it has become a source of legend. Doors in this hallway reportedly open on their own, even when locked with metal bars. Cameras installed for security routinely malfunction. Staff who venture down there often report feeling heavy, as though gravity itself is warped. In 2011, a substitute teacher unfamiliar with the building took a wrong turn and ended up in that hallway. When found, she was sitting against the wall, sobbing uncontrollably. She said she saw children, 8 of them, all with hollow eyes, standing silently and blocking her path. She was taken to the hospital for evaluation and never returned. The school attempted to seal off the hallway completely, but within weeks the welded door hinges were found sheared clean, as if with precision instruments, tools no longer used in modern construction. To this day, maintenance avoids that corridor. Some believe it's the place where all the spirits gather, a vortex of forgotten pain, waiting. Chapter 9. Why IT's still open. Why would a school district allow a building like this to remain open? The question baffles outsiders. But within the town there's a quiet, unsettling consensus. No one dares disturb what rests inside. Locals believe the hauntings are contained by the school's active life, that the presence needs energy to feed on, and closing the building might set it free. Urban explorers who attempted to break in during off hours reported disorientation, missing time, and phantom injuries, scratches and bruises they couldn't explain. One even claimed he saw his own doppelganger walking out as he entered. The local government denies all rumors and chalks it up to folklore, but former board members, when pressed, offer only cryptic responses. Some places don't want to be forgotten. Behind closed doors, maintenance requests for broken crucifixes and unexplainable black mold pile up. Teachers hold emergency drills not just for fires or shootings, but also containment, whatever that means. Chapter 10. Conclusion. Still holding classes in a world that depends on reason and logic, this school defies both. It continues to operate, even flourish, amid its reputation. Students graduate, teachers get hired, sports teams win trophies. But in the cracks, behind the lockers, beneath the stairs, inside locked rooms, something stirs. The haunted high school still holds classes. The bell still rings. The announcements still echo through the halls. But if you listen closely, very closely, you'll hear the footsteps that don't belong to anyone, the whispers that don't match any voice. And the stories, they're not just stories, they're warnings. Maybe the students who disappear from the yearbooks, the staff who never return, the doors that won't stay shut. Maybe they're all trying to tell us something. That the building is more than brick and mortar. It's a memory, a vessel, a prison. And perhaps, one day, it will decide class is dismissed. Subscribe to USA Geography for more real horror stories, mysterious geography, and chilling documentaries based on truth. Also watch our related documentary, The Most Dangerous Place in America. Uncover real stories from places you're not meant to visit.